Big news, AFTV are coming to Ghana. We are coming to Ghana in Africa between the 6th and 12th of February, and we're going to be meeting Ghanaian Arsenal fans and doing a watch party around the West Ham versus Arsenal football game. You do not want to miss this, so Ghana, get ready. We are coming. AFTV.
Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with fans to be linked with January transfer move to Arsenal. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that be linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. First of all, apologies, there was no Transfer Daily yesterday. Got back off of a flight from Qatar and had to go straight to the Arsenal game. So just not able to do it yesterday. But we're back today and talking to the Arsenal game. So glad to be back at the Emirates watching Arsenal win again. And what an emphatic victory it was. 5-0. Real gloss put on it right at the end by Gabriel Martinelli with 2 goals. Great to see him back scoring. And we needed that badly. We needed that very, very badly. Just to answer a lot of questions. Can Arsenal score goals? Yes, we scored 5. Can Arsenal keep a clean sheet? Yes, we kept a clean sheet. Can Arsenal score goals from set pieces? 2 goals from set pieces, and it looked like they'd been working on these set pieces over in Dubai. And let's hope now that this is where Arsenal kick on, because, you know, despite all the negative doom and gloom that's been around the past couple of weeks, we are back into third place on 43 points, same as second place Man City, even though they have a game in hand. And let's wait and see the outcomes of other games around. So back on track for Arsenal, really, really good. And Mikel Arteta was asked about transfers after the game. Obviously, you know, we're still in the January transfer window. There's still, just over a week to go. It's been very, very quiet for all teams in the transfer window this January. Mikel Arteta, you know, not giving anything away as he always does, sort of saying that, you know, well, indicating that, you know, he loves the players, he says, that he's got. But they'll be looking, but he's loving the players that he's got. We can see already it's going to be a quiet window, but don't discount Arsenal making some signings or a signing before the end of the transfer window. They've done it over the last couple, and it's going to be really interesting to see. Could kind of depend on what happens with some of the players that are coming back. I was over in Qatar and I saw Takehiro Tomiyasu come on for the game for Japan. They actually lost that game to Iraq, but he came on in the second half and he looked all right. He played well. He looked strong, was moving fine. So it's great to see Tomiyasu back, and hopefully he's full and fit for the second half of the season. There's rumours that Partey could be back for the Nottingham Forest game. That would be a huge boost for Mikel Arteta if he can get him back from now till the end of the season. And even Timber, there's rumours that he'll return sometime in February. So if these players return, does Mikel Arteta need to go into the transfer window? I mean, we all know a striker would be perfect. We saw one of those targets in Ivan Toney in action yesterday, and he was brilliant. I have to say, for a guy that's been out for 8 months, he looked brilliant, scored a goal, passing was excellent. But I think we all know now that the Ivan Toney thing, if that does happen, will not happen until at least the summer. You know, Brentford in big problems, even though they won that game yesterday. They need him. He was vital yesterday if they're going to get out of relegation trouble. And also, it was great in yesterday's game to see Emile Smith-Rowe come onto the pitch. Now, there's been a lot of rumours surrounding him over the past couple of days that he could be on the move this January transfer window. West Ham have made inquiries about his availability. There's also been another club in the Premier League that have been interested in him. We've known that Villa have had long-term interest in him. He came onto a rapturous welcome yesterday by the Arsenal fan, got good 26 minutes on the pitch, looked sharp as well, and he does not want to leave. There was a guy actually who's one of the stewards at Arsenal who said to me that he saw Smith-Rowe yesterday and asked him, you know, you staying? And Smith-Rowe said to him, yeah, I'm staying. I want to play here. You know, so It doesn't look like Arsenal are going to sell him, certainly not going to loan him. We know that West Ham were talking about the possibility of maybe taking him on loan. Certainly that's not going to happen. But I think he's definitely going to stay. The only way I could see him moving on, there'd have to be some huge offer that comes in before now at the end of the transfer window that Arsenal could just not refuse. But I just don't think Emile Smith-Rowe will be leaving this January transfer window. Martín Zubimendi, a player that's been linked with Arsenal for a very long time, since last season. He's been linked again this January transfer window. According to the publication Nacional, they claim that Zubimendi has made his choice on the team that he wants to join next, and that is Arsenal. He wants to join Arsenal. Now, it's a matter of whether it will be this January transfer window or in the summer. We know about this release clause that he has of £51 million. The way he's been playing, he justifies that release clause. He is one of the top players around in that Spanish league in that position of defensive midfield. We know that probably when the summer comes, Arsenal probably going to move on Thomas Partey, and Zubimendi is the perfect fit. As I said, more likely to be the summer. Lots of teams interested in him across Europe, big sides including Barcelona, but he's said to have chosen Arsenal as the team that he wants to join next. Arsenal also linked today with a player, a young Swedish player called Lucas Bergvall. He's only 17, and according to Mundo Deportivo, they claim that Arsenal are very interested in signing him. He's wanted by a host of other clubs. Barcelona are interested in him, Manchester United. Anytime that you're a hot prospect like this kid is, who's already, featured for the Swedish national team, anytime you're a player like that, you're going to garner a lot of interest. He hasn't featured yet for the Swedish national team, but he's a top prospect. He said that his side won about £15 million for him. Now, that's not a lot of money, but then he's only 17. We haven't really seen what he can do yet. But these, again, are players for the future. Not really what Arsenal fans want right now, but a player for the future. But that if you're a team, up there, you got to look out for these players, because next minute, that 10 million or 15 million, what they want, turns into 50 million and 60, 70 million if they've had a good season. It's all about trying to see if you can spot some of these players early. And Arsenal said to be interested in this youngster, Lucas Bergvall, Swedish, 17 years of age. So let's keep an eye out and see what happens with him. Nuno Tavares, could he be leaving Nottingham Forest, where he's on loan from Arsenal, and joining Marseille? He was on loan at Marseille last season and had a really good time of it. Maybe sort of fell away towards the end of his loan at Marseille. But according to L'Equipe, Marseille are pushing to bring him back before the end of the transfer window. Arsenal said to want around about 12 to 13 million pounds for Nuno Tavares. Any money that they can bring in right now would really help. Of course, Nottingham Forest wouldn't really want to let him go. He's there on loan. But we've seen, and I spoke about this, how Arsenal were ruthless with Mika Biriev, bringing him back off of loan from Motherwell and then, sending him somewhere else. You never know. It could be like that with this, where they just say, listen, this sort of money's being offered. We got to take this right now and move Nuno Tavares on. So one to watch before now at the end of the transfer window, because they are really, really interested in signing him. And we've learned the release clause for this kid, Benjamin Sesko. Now, this is another young player that looked really, really good when he was at RB Salzburg, was then signed to almost like the parent club, which is RB Leipzig over there in Germany. And he's got 7 goals in all competitions so far this season. Hasn't really figured as much as he would have liked, but he still is only 20 years of age and seen as one of those top prospect strikers in Europe. Obviously, gets compared a lot to Erling Haaland, maybe because of the fact that he's quite a tall kid. Also, the fact that, he's, gone that route of RB Salzburg. As I said, a real top prospect and 7 goals in all competition. His release clause is £43 million. Now, for a striker, and this is according to Sky Germany, for a striker, that is not a huge amount. And again, what I just said, sometimes you've got to move for these sort of players early, because if he goes and scores, say he moves to another club, they buy him for £43 million, he scores, 15 to 20 goals in a season, automatically that doubles. That is the current market for strikers. So £43 million, the release clause, but not available until the summer, that release clause. Should Arsenal consider him? Because still only 20, and it'd be a risk, and we've seen that risk with Manchester United going out and spending a lot of money on Rasmus Højlund, and he hasn't really delivered, probably because he's been thrown into the deep end too early. But could you maybe bring in a Sesko, let him learn alongside your players like Jesus, and then he can become that real top striker? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him in the summer. He's a player that is looked at and rated by a lot of top teams around Europe. So going to be very interesting, the Slovenian player, Benjamin Sesko. So those are the rumours for today. As we said, we are starting to close in on the end of the January transfer window. Just over a week to go. Will Arsenal do any business? That's going to be the really interesting thing to see. And just before I go, I want to say a big thank you to all of the fans, the Arsenal fans that I met out there at the Asian Cup over there in Qatar. It was great, the games I went to. I'll tell you what, Arsenal, massive in Saudi Arabia. Massive out there. Massive in Qatar, as we know. So some great support for Arsenal over there. So wanted to just big those fans up. And of course, next stop we're going to is Ghana. Going to be over in Ghana, AFTV. Looking forward to that. So keep your eyes peeled for all the activities that we're going to be doing over there. Thanks for watching the show. I'll see you tomorrow.